I know why you're here. You want to make billions of ISK during the Winter Nexus and EVE Online. You don't want to do combat, you don't want to do exploration. No, you are here to ice mine. And since you're a veteran player, you want to go into dangerous areas. That's what we got for you today, y'all. The Endurance is the ship to do it. So if you want the best EVE guides, you came to the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, Loru here, digital advertiser, content creator, and EVE enjoyer for the better part of 10 years now, and I love these ships. The Prospect and the Endurance, some of my favorites. By the end of this video, you're gonna know how to take this into dangerous areas and get that sweet loot and hopefully not die. But before I talk about the fit, we gotta have an understanding here. You can take this fit into low and null sec and get your mining going, but then you open yourself up to ganks. Yes, you can be ganked in high sec, but you know what I mean. It's more prevalent in those areas. We always say at some point in the video, and we're gonna start this one with the obligatory "you are
never safe in EVE."
Less so in a mining ship, for God's sake. Now, these mining sites are special. You can actually only bring mining ships into the mining sites. Even with that said, there's of course a chance to be ganked. So as long as you understand that when you take this fit and go into scary areas, you gotta keep your head on a swivel, then we're good. If that freaks you out, we do have a solo high sec fit, full video in the description. Our Winter Nexus playlist got everything for you. Nothing wrong with that, y'all. After my day job, I do not necessarily want to go into low sec and just be heavy breathing while I'm standing over a rock. Sometimes I just want to have some Netflix and get some ice mining going. Just a relaxing time. But that's not this video. So why is the Endurance the best ship for this? Not some of the other mining barges. Well, the ice you mine from this event is actually valueless. You cannot sell it on the market. You can put it up for contracts. What you can use it for is you can trade in that ice at an Orca NPC that is on the actual grid that the ice spawns. You trade your ice into that NPC or loot boxes you can open up later that can contain some good loot. And the low sec and null sec boxes contain much more lucrative loot than the high sec boxes do. And since the Orca NPC is a little bit further away from the actual ice itself, you don't want to be slow boating in a coveter or a retriever or even a skiff or something like that. Take an Endurance, y'all. This ship is gonna be able to go 1200 MS, and you're probably never gonna need to overheat this, but 1555. Get your ice, turn it in, come back to the belt, easy peasy. Why the Endurance over the Prospect? The Endurance is the only one that gets ice harvesting buffs. The Prospect is mainly for gas. The Endurance is for ore and ice. The Endurance only has a single turret slot, so you can only use one. You're gonna be bringing an ice mining laser too. Since you're going into dangerous areas, don't bling this out. Don't be that guy, please, okay? You only need the deck do. You don't need to spend hundreds of millions on this. In fact, the total cost of this fit is only 45 million ISK. And y'all, you're gonna make that back in spades. I can't wait for you to make literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of ISK from doing all the Winter Nexus activities. It's when I make the bulk of my ISK myself. We're also gonna run a cloak here. You don't get the covert ops cloak like the Prospect does, but since you're going into dangerous areas, you're gonna make a safe point first. We're gonna talk about that in the anti-gank tips at the end of the video. And you might just want to cloak up and go AFK for a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Let time be on your side. They can't scan you down, probes, descan, the like, if your cloak is active. So keep that on and handy just in case. And look, y'all, the festival launcher. It's a giant meme. I put it on there because I had an empty high slot, and it fits, so put there what you want. Let's talk about the lows, because this is super simple. We're gonna have two Ice Harvester upgrade 2s. Ice is different than ore. These two do not increase the amount of ice you get. They decrease the time it takes to mine a single block of ice. So with these both on, you're gonna mine one block every 52 seconds. Without these, it's gonna take 63 seconds. Basically, every 10 minutes, you're gonna have a single block of ice more than you would have without these. Now, you are gonna run a single warp core stab here. Those gankers do be coming out in low and null sec, and you don't wanna get pointed by a Prospect. Pointed by a Prospect, say that 5 times fast. You can use the warp core stab to get away, assuming they don't have a really blinged out point. You do not get the warp core bonus that the Venture gets. Now, the mids are where your tools start evolving. We already talked about the Afterburner, that's self-explanatory. We've got some pretty decent shield, a single multi-spectrum, and a medium. Yes, medium for cruiser shield hardener. It's gonna take your tank up to 8600. There are some rats on point that you're gonna have to tank and hopefully kill, so you do need to be able to survive that. Obviously, against other players, it's not gonna do that much. We'll talk more about that in just a sec. Your best weapon against those players is this burst jammer, y'all. Yes, everything within range is going to get pulsed, and there's a chance that you're going to unlock them, which will unscram you. You can then take those precious seconds to get the heck out of there. This is a very cap-intensive module, which is why we are running a single small semiconductor memory cell in the rigs. You can run a Tech 2 version of this. It takes you up to 2.5 minutes a cap instead of 1.5 minutes a cap if you use a Tech 1. But doing so increases the value of this from 45 million ISK up to 48 million with the Tech 2, so just spend the money you want to spend. I think the Tech 1 is all you really need. Now we are going to be taking a couple drones with us, but not too many because the Warp Core Stab is going to reduce our bandwidth down to only one drone in space at a time. Not great, but I still think the Warp Core Stab is the way to go. If you're struggling with rats and you're not seeing a lot of players, feel free to put in a different module in the lows. That way you can get some of that bandwidth back. You'll be able to use 3 drones if that's the case. Run the best DPS drones you can. We got some Hornets, and we're running these EC drones, another way for you to get rid of the gankers. This plus the ECM burst is going to maximize the chance you can unlock your opponent. And if only one person's pointing you, you can get out. One person pointing you. God, there's so many tongue twisters this year. Sheesh. Now these sites are easy to find if you know what you're doing, but I'd love to give y'all some value first. Y'all know that for the holidays we get extra generous. Some call me Loruclaus, I will accept it. We're going to be giving away 10, yes 10, fully fitted endurance to 5 of you. Those 5 will get 2 ships. That way, if one of you dies, you got an extra one in the bank. Easy peasy, go into dangerous areas, undock your ships, play the game, let's get out of these stations, y'all. In order to enter in, you have to do these 3 things. First thing is you got to be subscribed to the YouTube. My bot's going to know if you're not subbed, then you'll be disqualified. We're super close to 19,000 subs, y'all, as of this recording. It would be killer if we hit 20K by the end of the year. So share this video, get it done, y'all. I believe in you. After you subscribe, you go down in the comments and you're gonna type "I signed up, Loru." We keep all of our fits for the entire Winter Nexus on our Patreon. That's in the description for you. It's totally free. It takes 2 clicks to sign up. We provide a ton of value to our free and paying patrons. I just want to give y'all as much value as I can to level up New Eden, you know? So after you signed up, go type that comment in. And in that same comment, the third thing you're gonna do is put your in-game name in that comment on our YouTube. I gotta know who the heck to send the contract to, y'all. Do those 3 things and you'll be eligible to enter in. I love giving y'all this stuff. I love giving back to New Eden. Makes my heart warm and fuzzy. Generosity is a core pillar of this community. Happy to do it, y'all. Now let's talk about how to find these ice sites, because they don't just spawn anywhere. Once you got your map open, you're gonna click this gear right here. It's like the second one from the left, if y'all can see that. You're gonna come down to geography and statistics. And then once you've opened that up by uncollapsing it, you're gonna scroll down to meta-liminal storms. You're gonna select that. Now I'm recording this before the Winter Nexus, so there isn't a lot. You could see some here. You're gonna start seeing these all over the map. That is where the ice nodes spawn. You can find the closest one to you, navigate to that, and keep it going, y'all. You can see if I mouse over this, it even says meta-liminal storm. Just be careful, y'all, please. Do I have to say it again? You are
Never.
safe and Eve. You get the gist. I know you do. Now that's all well and good, but how do you get back? Once you got a loot bag full of all these loot boxes, how the heck are you gonna get back? Well, enter in the Pochven Express. We get a full guide on this. It needs a full guide. Go check that out to make sure you're fully safe. That's safe enough, you know what I mean. But just for this video, you're going to use the Winter Nexus filaments to get into nullsec, lowsec. You can also use these to get into nullsec. Bring a little bit of both, because you're going to keep popping these as you see more people coming in and out. You're going to use the border filament to get into Pochven, and you're going to use the glorification or the proximity filaments to get back home. So these will get you to null, this gets you to trig, and these take you home. Capiche? I love having smart viewers that just understand things. Y'all got it. Now, you don't have a lot of cargo space, and those loot boxes don't really weigh very much. You only got 200 M3. So what you can do is you can get yourself a small standard container. We keep featuring these because nobody knows about this. These take up 100 M3, but they give you 120 M3 of cargo space. And since the endurance only has 200 M3, you gain a little bit more. It's just enough to make sure you have all the goodies before you head back to high sec. Now let's talk about gankers. Since these areas can only be gotten to by mining ships, how do you tell which people are there to kill you or not? Well, if you want to be super cheeky, you can fit a ship scanner. Take out the multi-spectrum shield hardener, as the medium shield extender actually gives you higher EHP. This is going to let you scan a ship and see what their fit is within the scan range, and it goes within 60. Now, your ship can only target within 15. You're gonna have to be kind of close to see it, but this module is gonna let you you see who's there to kill and who's not. So what you're looking for is anybody with like scrams, webs. Prospects are the typical one because they have covert ops cloaks. And when they go from site to site, they're unseen until they get to the acceleration gate. They're probably going to have guns or newts in the high slots too. I mean, it'll be pretty obvious if they're fit for not mining, they're probably there to kill you. You do also want to look for procurers. Procurers are the mining barges, and they get bonuses to drone damage and hit points, and they get pretty beefy, so they can fit some tank, fit a scram, and then DPS you down. They don't even need backup. I did see a ganking retriever last year as well, so if you really want to be super safe, fit a ship scanner. Of course, you want to do the typical ganking checklists. 1, you want to have a safe spot, and since you're going into dangerous areas, I would have a couple of these. 2, I would make sure you're D-scanning at all times. I know my penmanship is horrible, I cannot be stopped. We have a full guide on D-scan, y'all. If you haven't watched that, it is mandatory, I mean
mandatory
viewing. If you're multi-boxing, you can have a backpack that's like cloaked up at a safe point, and you can drop off your loot there and go back to mining. That way, even if this endurance gets ganked, you still lock in the loot. You can literally pay for the entire endurance in just the afternoon, I think, depending on how lucky you get with those drops. What does a backpack look like? I'll show you. I would bring a solid Sunesis and have it cloak up on a safe point with a prototype cloak. Now, I have this Sunesis fit for align time. It's also one of my travel fits. Sub 2 second align is absolutely stupid with a decent amount of EHP. And again, these loot boxes don't weigh very much, so 900 M3 out of this. You can mix and match whatever you want to make sure you're putting more expanded cargo holds in this. Super easy. Have your endurance warp to this, jet can the loot, have your Sunesis pick it up and keep on going. And y'all, all of our winter Nexus guides are right here. We got a full playlist for you to make sure you can make literal billions of ISK this holiday season. And even our videos from past years are super live. We updated our Chronos fit this year post-nerf. That ship still slaps. That's what I'm going to be flying the most this year. Sub for more Eve content. We're close to 20K. It's just a matter of time. Thanks very much, y'all. We'll see you in the next video.